Hello and welcome to Manika IS. In this video, we'll be discussing about the recently signed trade agreement between India and United Arab Emirates. They called it as Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. It was signed on 18th of February between the two countries, and it's the first ever free trade agreements India has finalized since 2014. And as a matter of fact, this trade agreement was signed after a negotiation of 88 days, which is less time if you see, because there have been talks with respect to the trade agreement with various countries, but the plan could never be finalized because of Indian concern with respect to domestic manufacturing, agriculture sector, dumping of goods via China. So they were the major hindrance while signing a free trade agreement. However, this turned out to be a successful one, and finally, on February 18, the agreement was signed. See, now what is the aim of the deal? At present, the known oil trade between the UAE and India stands at $45 billion. However, India and UAE are planning to take it to $100 billion. They both share a very good trading relation that we'll be seeing in the next slide as well. And now they want to take it further to $100 billion in coming 5 years, of course. Now, if we see the present state of trade between the two countries, UAE happens to be the India's third largest trading partner and the second highest export of India get exported to UAE. Whereas India, on the other hand, is UAE's second largest trading partner, and the highest number of exports from UAE comes to India. So it is the highest export destination for UAE. India is the highest trade destination for exports for UAE. What are the benefits that India is expecting out of this trade deal? So basically, there are in UAE charge 5% of import duty on the products of India when they enters to the UAE soil. So now $26 billion, the product of this much value will get benefit due to this trade deal. This import duty will be waived off on this much amount of product. Second benefit that India is expecting is that uh, due to the increase in demand of the products and due to increased exports, India is expecting new 10 lakh job creation out of this deal, specifically in the labor intensive sector such as textiles, jewelry, which is gems and jewelry, which is a very important sector when it comes to the relation of India and UAE, leather, footwear, pharma, agriculture products, medical devices. As a matter of fact, agriculture products have been kept out of this free trade agreement in order to safeguard the interest of Indian farmers, which was a major reason why RCEP could not be signed. Now, let's visit what are the key points or say key highlights of the deal. So, UAE said that it will remove the custom tariffs on 80% of the goods. In value terms, that will be the 90% of India's export to UAE. So this much amount of custom tariff will be removed. Further, not only goods, services sector have also been covered in this deal, such as business services, telecommunications, construction, education, tourism, nursing, and finance. It also includes sectors like government procurement, intellectual property rights, digital trade, In order to protect the interest of domestic producers, as we have seen earlier also, India has kept dairy, fruit, agriculture products basically, footwears, petroleum soaps, tires, toys, aluminium, scrap, copper, and other out of the trade pact. So the major thing that you need to remember, that if there is a question, say in UPSC prelims, like that it covers agriculture sector, or they can give in a statement form and consider the following statement with respect to the trade deal signed between UAE and India, and they can somehow mention like it covers sectors like agriculture, services, etc., then you must remember that agriculture has been kept out of the deal. Now, this is a very important point with respect to the exam. Even if you're writing in mains, you need to highlight this point, because this is of crucial importance, that they have been able to finalize a deal where they could actually safeguard the domestic interest. Now the next thing is, uh, this also provide a permanent safeguard mechanism is there. However, the details are not yet out of this mechanism, but this will help in case of there is dumping of products, or if the volume of one product immensely increased in the other market. So in order to prevent the competition in the market, they have this mechanism. This is again the same point. Another important point is, see, Indian pharma is known for generic medicine. So what this pact has said, if any Indian generic medicine get approved in any of the developed countries, then it will automatically get registered and will get market authorization in the UAE market. Okay, now this is again a very important point that one must keep in mind, because India Pharma is a sunrise sector and has immense potential. So this is a place where we can see a huge rise in jobs also. Now, if we see, in order to prevent the dumping, stringent rules of origin have been provided in the pact. Now, what is that? If any product, suppose this is X product, now if this product has to be exported to India from UAE, then it is important that at least 40% of the value addition is to be done in UAE. If less than 40% of value addition is done in the product, then that will not count as a product of UAE, and thus the tariff which are there on the product will be there, and there will be no concession given for the tariff. See, what used to happen was, uh, this is X country, this is UAE, and this is India. Okay, so if you don't have, imagine you don't have this rule of origin, this point of 40% value addition, what will happen? A product from this X country will be transported to UAE, and under the name of UAE product, it will be transported to India. This way, without and will be able to bypass the custom tariffs. And imagine in this country, say China, if this is a country called China, they have labor, cheap labor, and thus the production cost is less. They will transport cheap products here and then export them by waiving off the custom duty to India. This will lead to dumping of the product, which was a major reason why India didn't sign RCEP, because they didn't have the stringent rules of origin. This was a major demand of India that they put forward when it come to RCEP. However, in this they have covered they have tried to plug in this loophole, and thus they have kept this 40% rule of origin law. Further, India and UAE account for 16% of the global trade in diamonds, gold, and jewelry. Now, on this trade, which is 16% of the global trade, India has given duty concession on gold, which will be imported from UAE. That means UAE export will be cheaper. Further, Indian exporter will also get zero duty access to UAE. So these were the basic points which were there in the deal, and it is a crucial deal that India has been able to achieve with respect to the free trade agreement. However, we still have to be cautious, because if we see in the previous years, we have seen whenever we have signed a free trade agreement, imports increased relative to export increase. So, for example, if there was a 30 million increase in 30 million increase in exports, then the 40 million increase in imports was seen, which led to a trade deficit for India. Now, this will be an important and a crucial point for us to see whether this fare out in a good manner or not. With that, thank you so much. Have a nice day.